Hello, and welcome to Aging Fearlessly. I'm your host, Guillermo Vidal. Over 4 years ago, my life partner, Desiree, came into my life. And not only has she brought a lot of love and adventures with her, she's also become my teacher in kindness and generosity. In particular, she's now teaching me a lot about how to bring the life chapter you share with your parents to a wonderful end. And I wanted to share this lesson with you because I think it's part of aging just as much as anything else. But first, let me tell you a bit about me and my parents. I was 48 when my father died at the age of 77 of lung cancer. My mom lasted much longer. She died in her sleep in 2017 at the age of 91. There frankly was not much left of my mom by then, as her brain had been ravaged by dementia for 5 years. But until now, I never really thought too much about losing my parents. We had a very, very difficult relationship where I spent most of my early years working to get out from under them. And once I did, I never looked back and led my life as separate as I could from Roberto and Marta Vidal. To me, ours is a very toxic relationship. I was not really around them very much as they grew older. I did the perfunctory calls for the holidays and birthdays and parent days, but no more than that. There was a time even when they moved to another state, but I didn't visit them there at all, for the thought of being in the same house with them for any length of time was unacceptable to me. As they grew feeble and needed help, my brothers and I made sure they were taken care of. But this was also more perfunctory on my part, for it was difficult to get past my disdain for them, even then. Fortunately, my father and I were able to make peace with one another in the month or two before he took his dying breath. It was important for me to see the once impenetrable, stoic, unfeeling wall that he was crack just a little bit to allow good feelings to flow between us for the first time in our lives. He died in peace, surrounded by his 3 sons. With Mom, it was a little different, for because of her dementia, there was barely a person living inside her body. The once raging, angry lunatic whom we feared and caused us to walk on eggshells around our home was nothing but an empty but smiling face on a withering bag of bones. And we did our best we could to help her feel loved and cared for during our visits. But unfortunately, she died alone and in her sleep. But I'm comfortable knowing that I was there to make sure my parents were well taken care of in their feeble age. I doubt anyone would judge my brothers and I negatively for how we were there in the end for them. But in hindsight, knowing that I will never hear their voices or see their faces and look in their eyes ever again, I wish I had done more like Desiree is doing with her parents. Now let me tell you about Desiree. Her parents are in their 80s. They live in Austria for 7 months of the year, and then they snowbird in Bradenton, Florida for 5 months during the winter. This year it has become more apparent than ever that the life and spark in her father's eyes is growing dimmer. Because his decline is so much more apparent than ever, Desi has grown anxious about his seeming lack of desire to blow some oxygen back into that flame and revive it. Now, we all know Desi, and when she gets an idea in her head, there is no stopping her actions. And both her parents and I know that her father will try harder at the urgings of his daughter. But Desi's not in denial about her father either. She can see that the final goodbyes are imminent. So she's doing something about it. And I find what she's doing for them so loving and kind that it fills my heart as well. Desi's not waiting for their final breath before telling them how much they mean to her. In what I have affectionately called Desi's appreciation tour, Desi is making sure that her parents know every time they see her how much she loves them, appreciates them, and how grateful she is for everything they have done for her. Now, how does she do this? Well, by living as though every time she sees them could be the very last time she ever sees them. And this has motivated her to make more time to be with them and share with them some fun and wonderful experience. These past months, she's taken them to a musical, the opera, tennis matches, music concerts, full pool parties, and all kinds of different countless and dinners and lunches to new restaurants. She has arranged surprise parties for their birthdays, followed by a full day of adventure. We even took them to their first ever baseball game, and they enjoyed it even though they knew nothing about it. And sprinkled in all these are walks on the beach, shopping outings with Mom, and she's even invited them to watch her play tennis when she competes for her team. Now let me tell you, this is a big deal because Desi's a great athlete and tennis player, and I've been with them when they've been there to witness their daughter's prowess on the court. On one of those occasions, they turned to me and patted themselves on the back when they said, "All that investment we made on her tennis really paid off." Ha 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 ha, they go. Of course, I joined Desi and her parents on most of these occasions. They're flawless outings where the focus is on enjoying each other and the experience is important and there's no grievances that are being aired. I do this in support of Desi, but also because her love and gratitude for her parents is actually soothing and healing for me. I feel that by helping Desi show her love for her parents in some metaphysical way, I am extending my love and appreciation for my own parents, something I couldn't do when they were alive. I know that doing something like this for one's parents is not for everyone. Some of you out there have endured terrible abuse or neglect from your parents, and you feel lucky you escaped from them with your lives. It is completely understandable why you would never want to open the door to them again. So don't. But I wanted to share this message for those of you who can see the coming death of your parents. So let me end with this. Now that I am older and have had 5 grown kids, I know that they see me as flawed and that I did things that hurt them. I think most sons and daughters feel that way about their parents in one way or another. But we didn't realize the battles going on inside our parents' heads from their own upbringing and the many pressures they felt at the time that may have caused them to make snap decisions they thought were for our greater good. Now, my kids may not like my explanations of my actions, so I don't try to explain. But I simply know that I tried my best to be a good parent and what I thought was for their greater good. I certainly realize now that I never gave my parents that benefit of a doubt until they were gone. And I had some years and experiences to give me perspective now. So if you're thinking about your parents is somewhere where mine is now, I submit to you that saying your final goodbyes to them, as Desi is doing with her parents, is the best way to go. If you could see the sheer look of joy on her parents' faces at the end of these outings, you would understand why I so highly recommend them, for they will provide you with wonderful memories in yours and their lifetime.